Fools will blunder. Wise players will accept a draw, but only a truly brilliant one would have been able to win this game that I actually drew in a tournament that I recently played in. You see, black does have 2 extra pawns and it's trying to promote this A pawn to a new queen. But there's an issue. If we just try to move this rook away, we're going to lose this pawn, and actually, this is simply a drawn endgame. If the king tries to walk up to the pawn and help it, the white rook is just going to give us checks like this forever, and there's not going to be any progress. Sacrificing the rook fails, because after the white king captures and we promote, the rook takes the queen. Walking this way with the king is even worse, because we're actually just going to get checkmated. Any pawn push is going to fail to some kind of capture, like this, and we're actually giving white a plan now. So in this position, I offered a draw to my opponent, which accepted. But after the game, all of the players that were looking at the game unfolding started discussing whether this position was actually a draw or a win for black. And I was defending my point, that this was a draw, there was no way to make any progress, so we decided to check with the computer. And we found out that black is actually completely winning. And it is winning with a move that, believe it or not, we have already considered, the brilliant E5. You see, this move has an incredible idea behind it. After E5, if the rook decides to capture, well, now our rook is just able to move away from the A file, and we're going to get a queen defended by the rook and win the game. But of course the bigger threat is f takes E5, but here black, rather than trying to stay close to the pawn, plays king C4 and starts walking towards the black pawn. Now if white decides to take our pawn and run to get a new queen, we're actually going to be playing king B3, defending our own pawn and threatening to move the rook away. And some of you might think, but Pietro, this doesn't make any sense. We already looked at this. What has changed? The king is just going to be checked by the white rook. But see, the position has changed. We have forced the white rook to A5. And now, once the rook checks the king, we're just going to be able to play king A4. And there are no more checks for this rook, which means that it's gonna have to run back to threaten this check. But actually now we can just move the rook away. And once the rook checks us, we're going to be playing king B3, defending the pawn. And after the white rook keeps checking us, now the king actually finds shelter behind the white pawn. We live and learn, and next time I get this position in a game, I will know what to do. If you love incredible chess, follow me for more.